Hey everyone, welcome to 5 More Minutes, the show where two friends relive their childhoods, or in some cases, learn about everything they missed out on. I'm Kendra.
And I'm Scott. And routinely, we have more bad jokes
Oh
for the
yeah.
week. So I'll throw a couple at you here because this one's not even like a call and response. Um, Ever since we started quarantining, I've only been telling inside jokes.
Wow.
Yeah, pretty good, huh?
Yeah, what happens if you tell inside jokes outside?
The world explodes.
Oh snap.
Yeah. What has 5 toes and isn't your foot?
What has 5 toes
Mm-hmm.
and isn't your foot?
Yep.
Mannequin.
My foot.
Oh, my answer also is correct.
Yeah. So yeah, there's a lot of bad ones. Wow, this site just keeps giving and giving. My doctor told me I was going deaf. The news was hard for me to hear.
Wow.
Yeah. Anyway, that's enough of that, I think.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
You got zebra striped Yeezys?
Yeah, you like those?
No.
Oh,
Not a
we'll
real
see.
big fan of animal prints.
Yeah.
I
I mean, they're
think,
not supposed to be zebra. They're just black and
well,
white.
yeah, that's true.
They're wave.
I wish I had more money so I could get all the shoes.
Yeah, I need to post those ones for sale, probably. Just get them moving.
Too bad we don't wear the same size shoe.
Yeah, I know. Think of that. All the money savings.
Um, did I tell you about the person I found online who buys destroyed Nikes and makes like wallets and money clips and stuff?
Yeah.
I really want to do that, and I've been looking at eBay to see like the price some Nikes go for, and
Mm-hmm.
some of them like are obscure and like don't really go for very much money.
No, I mean used normal shoes in general usually don't go for that much. So.
Yeah, because I mean they could be like any, you know, Air Jordan, like, or just thing with the Jordan logo. I think some of the
Yeah.
ones I was following ended already just because I was like, I just followed some so that I could see like one pair went for like $10. There's a pair right now for like 30.
It's not
I
too
couldn't
bad.
find any that were like truly destroyed. I wonder where he finds those. Also,
Might get
there's
lucky at like Goodwill.
that Budweiser get wet sign is still for sale.
Yeah, ever since you sent that to me, now it just pops up in my email when I open it. So
It's just such like a specific thing.
yeah, no kidding.
Yeah. Anyways, what'd you do today?
Just the normal thing. Went to work, got my car valued by Subaru. So they said they'd give me 18 for it, straight up trade in on that new car. And I was like,
You could totes
probably
get more.
yeah, I'm probably just still gonna stick it out and try my own. It'd be a lot harder to say no if they were like right around 20.
Yeah. Someone on the Toyota, um, one of the subreddits was like, I sold my first gen to someone at the dealership because they offered me $20,000. And I was like, maybe I should start taking my truck to the dealership more.
You just start like parking it there all shiny and clean.
Yeah, like I need to fix the paint still. They
Mm-hmm.
have cheap orbital sanders at Harbor Freight, so I might just do one of those. But if someone was
Yeah.
just like, here's $15,000 cash for your truck, I'd be like, okay.
Yeah, I'd be like, oh yeah,
Yeah.
done.
Because
Yeah.
then I could, I don't know. I'd probably get a cheaper car and then figure out what I was doing.
Yeah. Just buy some time. So did that. Well, we played a little Elden Ring yesterday.
Man, I literally hadn't played that in like a month, and I hate how long it takes to level up now.
Yeah, it's really starting to get up there. And I was like, I think I'm like 72 right now. And I asked Keaton, I was like, what level are you? You got to be like 80 something. He's like, I'm 89. I'm like, oh my God.
Yeah, I'm level 61,
Yeah.
but it takes like 24,000 runes to level up.
What else were you trying to do besides you were trying to fight Radon and then just
Well, I
wandering
just kind
around?
of stumbled into that because
Mm-hmm.
I didn't realize that was that. I think I did know it was that castle, but I didn't like it. I hadn't played in a long time, so like didn't register because I was just
Yeah.
trying to like explore the parts of Caelid that I hadn't been to because I've been just like collecting pieces of the map and I've been up to like um the big castle at like the top of the map and that leads into the place where you end the game because it
Yeah.
looked really pretty and I was just like exploring it. Um but I am confused. Did you see the picture I sent where that bridge was not guarded last
Yeah.
night? And your guys's both is still? Well, you haven't done it yet.
Um, I have done it actually. I mean, I went through there and I've at least been in the castle. I haven't
Oh,
beat the castle, but
mhm.
yeah, people will still show up there for me,
Yeah.
at least for
And
now.
because that's where the big troll was, right? Who threw things down? Or is this?
Yeah, he was up on the
Yeah.
top
And
of the
like I'd been
castle.
there before, but I'd never like been past it. And
Mm-hmm.
the only thing I can think of that I did is that when I was at the top of the map, what is that place called? It starts with an A.
I don't know.
Like, hold on. There was like this big dragon. That's not like it's not. It's like an end of the game dragon kind of.
Yeah.
And I engaged with it instead of running away, and then it left. And Keaton said he just like avoided it when he saw it, and that's the only thing I can think of that I did differently. The
Huh.
Atlas Plateau.
Oh, okay.
And there's like some dragon. There's like a runes named after it, and so I had like engaged with it.
Oh,
That's
I
the
see.
only thing I can think of that I did differently, and I
Huh.
don't know if maybe that like affected that.
You never know. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. If you know,
Or
write
maybe
in.
just like since you've been all the way in to Radon, maybe it just makes all those guys go away. Like just you getting there. I don't know. Because I haven't done that yet.
Yeah,
But that doesn't make sense because Keaton has, I guess. So
yeah, and I did teleport in, but I teleported in from the. Where did I teleport in from? I
your
think
mom's
I
house.
teleported in from Fort Gale. Keaton thought maybe that was why, but Keaton's beat Radon, and
Mm-hmm.
it's still like that, so that's why it's weird.
Yeah. I don't know. Elden Ring's mystery. I was able to get some. All I'm doing right now is I'm literally just going in each area. Like I have all of the Lost Grace and Limgrave, and now I'm just going to the other two areas, getting them all there. I'm not even fighting all the bosses, so
That's true. It would be
it's
easy
crazy.
for me to level up if I went back and found all the bosses I hadn't beat yet.
Yeah.
And I really want to beat that white dragon on the highway, but I think I need help. I can't do it.
Yeah, that
I,
one was a pain in the ass.
I found the recipe book, I think, to make the Scarlet Rot remedy because I was
Oh,
like I
like the
wanted to
cure.
find it, but then I don't think I had the ingredients I needed to make it or something.
Yeah.
I don't know. Anyways, I thought the Atlas Plateau was pretty af.
Yeah. There's some pretty cool locations in that game.
I was
I haven't
trying
even been up there yet.
I was trying to explain to Keaton, but he never understands what I'm saying. I don't know if it's because he's always high.
Probably doesn't help. Yeah.
Anyways, we've been talking a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, we finally watched Dungeons and Dragons: Wrath of the Dragon God.
Holy shit.
Hell yeah. 2005 sequel to the 2000 movie Dungeons and Dragons.
Which was just awful.
This one, obviously, we're not going to talk about the ratings yet, but this one is rated slightly better.
Yeah.
I did have a little bit harder time paying attention to it for some reason. I don't know. I didn't like that I didn't have subtitles, and I think that was really messing with me.
Oh. I did think it was a bit better than the first. I mean, it's hard to be worse than that first one, to be fair, but I thought this one was better for sure.
Yeah. So let's talk about it logistically. So it is a standalone sequel to the 2000 film Dungeons and Dragons. The film premiered on the Sci-Fi Channel on October 10th, 2005. But it released in theaters in Europe and some parts of North America and Latin America on February 7th. Wait. No.
What?
Before it came out to the United States on the Sci-Fi Channel, it was released in theaters earlier in the year.
Oh, okay.
In those European countries. And
Right.
then in February of 2006 is when it came out.
Ah.
Yeah.
Okay.
The working title was The Elemental Might.
Did you notice, like, on the title screen, it had the Elemental Might, and then very rapidly it changed, like they forgot to remove that part?
Yeah, and on some websites and stuff, when you looked it up, it was referred to as that. And I don't know if it's one of those things where maybe in like some countries it's still like kept that title or something.
Yeah. I just thought it was weird because it looked like an afterthought. They're like, change that name. This is it now.
Yeah. And that title appeared on Rotten Tomatoes. Like when I was looking up reviews, it was called Dungeons and Dragons, The Elemental Might. So I don't know if it was like, because it's just like, like Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone in America versus Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Stone. So like,
yeah,
I don't know. It could be something like that. Us Americans, we're too #basic.
We're too weird, man.
Yeah.
Too weird.
The budget was $12 million.
Nice.
Do you want to guess what the box office was? Gross worldwide.
Worldwide, 3 million?
2.5.
Ooh, 2.5 million worldwide.
That's about a $9.5 million loss, I'd say.
That's a flop if I ever heard of one. Right, I mean,
I'm obviously there would have been some, DVD sales and whatnot, but not $9 million worth of DVD sales.
Impossible.
Yeah, it was directed by Jerry Lively. He had like 12 directing credits, but the only other thing I noticed was Dungeons and Dragons 3: The Book of Wild Darkness. Like nothing else that he directed was notable to me.
Yeah.
And that's a common theme. Very common theme. He is a cinematographer though, and he had 47 titles. There were 3 things that stood out to me as things I think maybe I've heard of. Obviously, one was Hellraiser 3.
Oh, yeah.
One was a movie called Friday that has Ice Cube in it. That was pretty highly rated, actually. It kind of looked familiar, like maybe I'd seen the like the artwork. Yeah. And then another one, which was not good, is called Gearheads, and it has an IMDb rating of 2.8.
Gearheads, never heard of that.
Yeah, I clicked on it because I was like, oh, that sounds like something that maybe will be familiar, and then I was like, nah. So the writers, one of them includes Jerry Lively, but it was his only writing credit, so I'm assuming it was probably like small changes or something that he made to it. Robert Kimmel also only had 1 writing credit. He had 12 credits total on IMDb, and 10 of them, which was 5 of the same thing twice, were something called sex files.
Okay. Are these pornos?
I did not do a lot of investigation into that because I made these notes on my school computer.
That's probably a good idea.
Yeah, so I was like, all right, well, we're not gonna click on that to find out more, but
where does this go?
Yeah, so something called sex files. I could very quickly look that up because I really was kind of interested in how all of his things were sex files and then just Dungeons and Dragons.
Yeah, it is a weird mix.
So these are his things. So Confessions of a Call Girl.
Okay.
And all these things are from 1998. And then just Dungeons and Dragons, like nothing else in between that. Sex Files, Alien Erotica. Sex Files, Digital Sex. Sex Files, Pleasure World. Sex Files, Portrait of the Soul. So they are straight up sex parodies of the X-Files, is what it sounds like. Oh, that makes sense, because the description says 2 government agents investigate a virus that causes people to become uncontrollably sexually excited. And that actually has better ratings than this movie does.
Hilarious.
It's a rated R. It's an hour and 41 minutes. Maybe we should watch those sometime.
Oh my god.
At least one of them, you know? The next
Just
one, the
softcore
digital
porn.
sex one, that one does not list a description. And then Pleasure World. In our virtual world, you can be a part of any event, feel the passion, and embody all your fantasies. With our equipment, it is perfectly safe. You choose the body of your dreams, buy your tickets to the world of pleasure.
Wow.
Yeah.
So it's like virtual reality.
I guess so. But there's a lot more sex files things.
They probably were a lot more successful than his Dungeons and Dragons.
Yeah.
Sadly.
Anyway, so I thought that was interesting and unique and not necessarily what I was expecting to see when researching the writers of a fantasy movie. Although those are fantasies in a different way, so I guess it relates. And then the third writer is Brian Rudnick. He also wrote the third Dungeons and Dragons movie, but he only had 9 movies total, and none of them were anything that I had ever heard of before. So I think that part of what they're doing wrong with these movies is not getting well-known people. So maybe this one that's going to come out with Chris Pine or whatever, you know, maybe it'll be better because it's 2022. So
fingers crossed. Yeah. I mean, again, it can't be worse.
Yeah. So the cast features one returning member, which is Bruce Payne as Domador. The rest of the cast seems like UK actors, so I didn't really recognize anything that they had been in.
Yeah.
You have Mark Diamond as Beck, and his name is really familiar, but when I looked through, I couldn't really find anything except that he was in Die Another Day, which I've never seen.
I think it's Barrick was his name, wasn't it?
I don't know. I thought I wrote these down directly from IMDb. Oh, yeah. Yes, it is. I wonder if it like auto-corrected to Beck.
To Beck.
My school computer does weird things. Okay, hashtag LOL. That's not his name. Barrick. You have Clemency Burton Hill as Melora.
That's a name. Okay.
Yeah. But her father is a well-known TV guy in the UK. I didn't know what to refer to him as.
TV guy.
Aside from acting, she has a career in journalism and music. So a very well-rounded individual.
Okay, fair enough.
Ellie Chidsey plays Lux. No picture on IMDb. 8 acting credits.
And she was the barbarian?
Yes. You have Stephen Elder playing Dorian. I pretty much just wrote down all of the cast since none of them had things to talk about.
Oh, yeah.
And he just had a lot of roles on presumably British TV shows because again, nothing sounded familiar.
Which one was Dorian?
Dorian.
Was he the mage guy?
Dorian. I had a hard time remembering who is who, I think, because I didn't have subtitles.
There's a lot of names they threw around, and some of them were just gone immediately, so it was kind of hard to keep
He has
track.
kind of like a receding hairline and a mustache.
Okay, it was probably the mage guy that had the green on his forehead.
Probably. He has a recurring role in what I could only assume is a British soap opera called Doctors.
Nice.
Yeah. Then you had Tim Stern as Mim, also no picture, but 64 acting credits, which I thought was very weird for him to have so many acting credits, but no picture.
Yeah.
His
flies under the radar.
Yeah, his very first acting credit is for a 1976 film called Confessions of a Driving Instructor.
Okay.
And I would like you to take a guess at what you think that movie is about.
Oh gosh, is it? I mean, my mind goes dark right away, so I think he's like some kind of pedophile or killer, and he's a driving instructor, so he takes advantage of teenagers trying to learn how to drive.
That's probably close. The description says the sexual misadventures of Timothy Leah, and his brother-in-law Sidney Nogat when they set up a driving school business.
Oh my god, I might have nailed that.
Yeah. And it has a 4.3 rating.
So better than this.
It's the cover art is weird. It has a redheaded chick in like kind of like almost like an anime dress, kind of what it reminds me of, like very like short, like, and you can see her undies through the steering column.
Oh my gosh.
And it's a stick shift, but the way he has his legs makes it look weird where she has her hand on it. And he has his clipboard covering his junk, and he's doing this.
Wow.
Yeah, girls drive him wild, and he loves it.
Oh God.
Yeah, so let's add that to the list of things to watch too.
Yeah.
There was a lot of like funny segues off of some of these people, which I just thought was great. So yeah, so there's that. I honestly think we could just start a podcast where we only read bad movie reviews.
Probably.
And we would have to mind things like this, I feel like.
Yeah, I mean, it makes its own content, really.
And obviously, like, British humor is like significantly different than American humor, but
yeah,
I don't know. One of the reviews is a 10 out of 10 and says Cock Robin strikes again.
Cock Robin?
I think that's probably some sort of British thing also.
Well, yeah, I mean, it sounds like one of those bend over names, you know what I mean?
Yeah. So anyways, Lucy Gaskell plays Ormeline, who I don't remember who that is. 32 acting credits.
Oh, she must be the teleporty wizard on their side, right? You know what I'm saying?
Oh, yeah, because there was her, and then there was the lady who had the curse.
Yeah.
I forgot that there was two of them. I think at the beginning I kept getting confused because I was like, oh, is that not the same person? And it wasn't.
It was not.
Yeah. And then the final, why is my computer doing this? The final cast crew member of note is Roy Marsden, who plays Oberon. And he had a lot of reoccurring roles on a miniseries in the 80s.
Gotcha. And he was kind of like the head mage guy, right?
Yeah, that's, I think, the one who betrays him, right?
Well, he doesn't betray them, but yeah, he gets killed. The shapeshifter was acting like him.
Right.
Yeah,
I forgot about that part. There were some DVD extras, and I tried to find them so we could watch one of them, but then I kind of forgot to keep trying. Like on an initial like quick search, I couldn't find them. Mm-hmm. One of them was called Rolling the Dice, Adapting the Game to the Screen. And I'm reading the description of these from an IGN review. It says, Rolling the Dice, Adapting the Game to the Screen is essentially an electronic promo kit featurette. You've got the writer, director, and actors glossing over the story and the characters. It's obviously obvious they put a lot of effort into keeping the movie as true to the game as possible. Everyone on set seems to have D&D handbooks. All this made me think of was how much cooler the D&D book designs are when compared to what you get in the movie.
Yeah, that's true. Some of those monsters and things were a little rough looking.
Yeah, and then there was an interview type of a thing with Gary Gygax, which is the one I was trying to find. Mm-hmm. It's called The Ark, a conversation with Gary Gygax. And it is apparently a wasted opportunity, according to this IGN writer. They could have gotten him to talk about his tumultuous relationship with the franchise or his involvement in the creation of the game. Instead, we see a lot of clips from the movie and get to hear what Gygax thinks of the flick. He seems to have enjoyed it, or I think that's what he means when he says that he, quote, didn't even feel like falling asleep.
Wow, that's kind of like a backhanded compliment.
Yeah. So I think I'm going to go out of my order here because I have the synopsis from IMDb, but I am going to read through the D&D references, which I think I also got most of this list from a combination of the IGN review and on IMDb. So the film has several explicit references to the AD&D game. A map during the opening credits contains the name Yinogu, a demon lord from the game, and another demon lord from the game, Jubilex, is mentioned by the characters several times. Also, several references contain the names of AD&D adventure modules. Barrick mentions that Dorian helped him in the Ghost Tower of Inverness, which is a reference to a module of the same name. Nim asks Lux what happened to her brother at the Barrier Peaks, which is a reference to the module Expedition to the Barrier Peaks. And Lux makes a reference to the Shrine of Kuto, which is a reference to the module of the same name. So they're specifically mentioning, places and parts, modules and whatever that people would recognize. Lux's name itself is a game reference. Strategic Simulations Inc. produced a series of computer games based on advanced D&D, one of which is called Pool of Radiance. In the game, you have to search out passwords for unlocking certain locations. Lux is one of a trio of passwords you need for an island keep filled with skeletons. So,
okay. Yeah.
I think that almost seems more of like a stretch. I feel like you have to like deep dive for that one. Magic runes seen in the film come from two sources. The first source is the set of zodiac symbols from astrology. The second source is the chaosisms. CHAOSIUMS. Role-playing game RuneQuest, which was a competitor of the original D&D and AD&D games in the 70s and 80s. Don't people still play that?
I have no idea.
RuneQuest. I feel like
RuneScape was like an online game.
Oh, maybe that's what I'm thinking of.
Yeah. RuneQuest, I do not know.
Oh, yeah. RuneQuest is a fantasy. Oh, yeah. It's a tabletop RPG. Maybe I'll cover that sometime.
There you go.
All right. I was getting it mixed up with RuneScape for sure. So let's see. Two more. There are a pair of dark elves making a cameo, and I guess that is a D&D reference. I don't know if D&D is the first place where dark elves were like created or something.
Yeah, that's a little strange.
I think I started to look that one up and then never kind of figured out because it's kind of a very specific like question to try to find the answer to, I guess.
Yeah.
And then the characters complete actions and turns based on what their character types would do. So it's basically just saying that the characters are staying true to
their roles.
Because I think the one guy is a rogue because he picks a lock.
Yep.
And then you have a barbarian. There's mages. Barrack. What's Barrack?
Like a ranger or whatever you call him.
Oh yeah. But yeah.
And one reference I noticed was that pretty much the only one I noticed because I don't know any of that stuff that you said.
Yeah.
But the only thing I noticed is one time when Barrick was talking, he referred to their mission as our campaign, which stood out. Yeah.
I don't even think I noticed that. See, I meant to open my notes and try to add more to that list when I watched it, but I think I was working on something for my dice when I watched it, so I couldn't like multitask in 3 ways, which is probably why I was having a hard time remembering the names and everything. Yeah. At least in like the beginning. I don't know if it was like a slow start or something, but the first like 20 minutes I was like, what? Like I wasn't fully in the movie watching mode yet.
All the intros and stuff, it was a little slow to start.
Yeah. All right. So the official IMDb synopsis: based on the phenomenally successful role-playing game, Dungeons & Dragons 2 takes you deeper into the dark and fantastical world of this fantasy epic. When the evil sorcerer Domador braves a perilous whirlwind vortex to steal the elemental black orb, he declares a sinister plan of vengeance against the kingdom of Izmir. Barrack, a decorated warrior, and Melora, an amateur sorceress, join 4 heroes representing intelligence, wisdom, honor, and strength to battle against Domador's growing army of gruesome creatures, flying harpies, and an ice dragon to reach a vault room holding the orb. Together, they build their own army to retrieve the orb, using elemental forces to defeat Domador before he summons the sleeping black dragon, who's omnipotent. Why do I say words wrong? Like, it's like I know how to do it, but when
once
I'm
you
like,
read it, you're like, I know that.
Yeah, when I'm like reading the sentence, I'm in like, I don't know, enunciation mode or something.
Yeah.
Evil powers could lay waste to the entire kingdom. So that's the official synopsis.
Whoa.
I will say that while this is probably a better movie, it's lacking in the so bad you need to watch it category. Like it's not as like notable to me in that way, you know?
Yeah,
Like
it's
there's no
definitely
snails. There's no, you
skills.
know, snails just really brings a lot to the game.
Yeah, and I mean this one had somewhat semblance of a story that you could understand. Um and their costumes were much better than the first one. They weren't like so comically bad that they looked like a Halloween store, but
Still kind
I
of
mean,
questionable CGI for the time
oh
though.
yeah, for
Like I
sure.
don't know what's up with that. Like
I don't know, like some of those monsters they were fighting, like when they were in the dungeon, there's like these weird, like I don't even know what to call them. They were almost like jellyfish looking things that were hanging on the ceiling and would drop down on them. They looked like inside out umbrellas, is what they looked like. But those were rough to look at. That whole sequence was pretty bad.
yeah, I don't know. And when they were doing what was it that they were doing? It was like some it reminded me of what happens when you're like running fast in like Warzone or driving the car, how it kind of like zooms in when people were doing like magic and stuff.
Oh yeah,
Like I didn't think that that was a very good like effect for that.
yeah. Well, I mean that's also one of the tricks of the trade or whatever. Because when you like in a fight scene, when you zoom in really tight, you don't have to see like the rest of the actor's like body because they might be goofing stuff up. So yeah, I think it's the kind of their way, like, oh, focus on the action only. Don't look at anything else.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't understand why they can't just like make a good movie. Like I think we should have an entire episode of this podcast where we try to come up with what we think would make a good D&D movie.
We like make our own script.
Yeah, like honestly. Cuz like
Yeah.
you know what makes good movies and I know D&D, you know?
Yeah,
Yeah.
somewhat. I mean, I'm not a movie maker. I'm mostly a critic. I'd be terrible at making one, I'm sure.
Well, maybe that's why cuz you pay attention to the detail.
Maybe. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. So it kind of starts out. How does it start out?
It starts out where, Barracks, he's got the equivalent of a desk job now. He's
Mm-hmm.
like, I don't even know, an advisor or something. And people are out there fighting in the yard. And he's like, I used to be me. And, this and that. And then he gets out there, he spars, but his young apprentice secretly beats him, but lets him win. And then kind of tells him, you're like, yeah, you're not hot shit anymore, old man. The future is now, and blah, blah, blah. And then he goes and leads the army out. And then Barrick finds this black dragon in the mountain when they asked him, oh, there's poisonous gas in here. I don't know what's going on. And he goes in there and he finds the dragon sleeping. And he's like, oh shit, something bad's gonna happen. And then that sparks like Damodar has the orb, bad things are happening. We need to get that
Mm-hmm.
orb from him. And then
And
he
what
builds
happened
his
to
party.
Damodar at the end of the first movie? Because I couldn't really remember what happened to him.
I have no idea. I mean, he must have just flown away somewhere and
Yeah.
escaped, but
Well,
I
and
can't for the life of me
yeah,
remember.
because he was cursed with that thing that was like making him pale or whatever because he was
He
working for
was
the
he was
one guy.
undead. Mm-hmm.
And so then, and this is supposed to be like numerous years in the future. So has he just been like hiding in his little like underground thing with his like henchmen or like,
Well, he was like wandering the world because he was undead, so he couldn't die. So it's been a long time, and he was just wandering, trying to make himself whole again, and he finally does by finding this orb.
hmm.
Yeah, and then he wants to
Mm,
pair that orb with that black dragon and bring chaos and destruction back, or whatever bad
yeah.
guy things.
Lots of trying to do bad guy things and summon dragons. So
Yeah,
a lot of focus on like bringing the dragons back in this realm, which I mean, I feel like maybe they're trying too hard for that part to make it be Dungeons and Dragons because you can literally play D&D without there being dragons.
true. Yeah, I don't think they were quite getting that though. I mean, especially back then, they're like, it's in the name, we have to have it.
Yeah,
So
that's true.
yeah,
Hmm.
it is what it is. But I mean, and when I say there was more of a story than the first movie, I mean, is good, but it could be followed, but it was still kind of like there were points where we were like, but why though?
Hmm.
And I don't know. It wasn't a super engaging story, but I will give it points because it had one that made sense. Whereas that first movie, nothing made sense.
Yeah, it was like a little bit easier to like follow what they were trying to do. Like even
Mm-hmm.
having had a hard time like paying attention at the beginning, and I still like knew what the point of what they were doing was.
Yeah. And they did okay at fleshing out Barrick's character. I mean, you kind of got he's maybe slightly washed up. He's getting a little older, but he's still got skills. They tried really hard to flush out Lux's character because they kept referring to, how Barrick had to put down her brother because he was like in a barbaric rage one time. And they kept referring to it throughout their adventure. And then at one point, they're like, no, snap out of it. You're not your brother. When she was just like killing the whole enemy team, which is, I mean, what she's supposed to do.
Yeah.
But you never really got any depth out of the characters. Like they had a little bit of interaction with each other, but there wasn't enough time or organization to flush them out.
Yeah, because like the main character depth that you got was like Barrick and Melora's relationship, and that's pretty much it.
And you really didn't learn anything about Melora's backstory.
Yeah, and one thing I was gonna add, and I meant to type this into my notes and I forgot, is that I'm assuming Melora is another D&D reference because Melora is the god of nature and like the seas or the wilderness.
Oh, okay.
And so I would assume that wasn't just like a recent addition to like the goddess, like the wilderness and the sea.
Mm-hmm.
And so I was wondering if like that was supposed to be like her origin story to some extent. Like because at the end there was like a lot of stuff that had to do with like nature with her like magic-y stuff kind of going on.
Yeah, because the black orb or whatever, the bad one that Damodar have was obviously like, all the bad things, but the one she had was like all the four elements. And like, yeah, like you said, maybe bringing a balance back to nature, doing this and that.
Yeah. And I tried to like look up like D&D lore to see if there was anything that mentions like how she ascended to be a god or whatever.
Yeah.
Because there is that for some, like some of them do have a more fleshed out backstory, and I couldn't find anything. I guess I could have looked in my book to see if it mentioned it, but I think it would have come up on the internet if it had more of a backstory. But maybe they were trying to like, I don't know, like create that as a backstory.
Maybe they're like, yeah, we can kind of just put this here, and then if the movie does well, maybe we can go somewhere with it,
Yeah.
But they didn't. I guess they did make a third one, but
yeah.
I don't know how.
And we're gonna try to watch that because it's my turn again next month.
Oh boy.
But we
is that even harder to find? Or?
Well, do you have a VPN?
No.
Because you just have to set it to like Austria and then you can watch it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I could potentially get one by then.
You could even do a trial. Because I painstakingly went through the process of trying to figure out which countries I could could watch it in, and it was like Poland and like Austria or something. It was like really
why is that? Is that just where
I don't know. I mean, it was a UK release. But now it's only available to stream in certain countries.
Weird.
And you can buy the DVD, but we can't watch the DVD unless we also have a UK DVD player because the discs aren't the same.
Oh.
Yeah.
Darn them.
Yeah. So, I mean, I don't know. I guess if you could find a cheap UK DVD player, but
yeah.
I don't know. We can do more investigating. But I checked at the beginning of this episode to see if it was my week again next month, and I'm very excited. Because I also want to buy the Book of Vile Darkness.
Yeah.
And I also want to buy the weird RPG erotica book they talked about on NADPOD.
RPG erotica.
Someone like mailed it to them, like a fan.
Really?
Yeah. Let's get to that point. We need people to support us so that this isn't a waste of time, and then send us cool shit.
I'm down.
Yeah.
Let's do it.
But anyways, yeah, so I don't know. I think that this movie is not as iconic as the first one.
Just because it's not as bad?
Yeah, because the first one was so bad that it was funny.
Yeah.
And this one just felt like mediocre to me.
Yeah, I mean, fair enough. the first one does stick in memory just for how bad it is, whereas this one, it's just gonna be like, I'm not really gonna remember. Maybe I'll remember the characters, but I'm not gonna remember much about it. It was on a more serious tone, and I'm sure you liked some of like the snails funny bits and stuff from the first one.
I like stupid stuff.
Yeah, well, I mean, I'm not saying that in a bad way, but just they were very different movie tones.
Mm-hmm.
So,
yeah, I don't know. Like the introduction of the characters too, like kind of felt loose, like how they joined together.
Yeah, I mean, Barrick was the only one that knew like all of them, and he's just like, I know this person, this person, this person. Bring them all together, do it, and they had a very brief like introduction montage. But other than that, we didn't really know anything about them.
Yeah, I don't know. It's just interesting. Like, why can't they just make a good one? You know,
they're trying. Keep your fingers crossed.
Yeah, is that supposed to come out like next year? When's that supposed to come out?
It was either October to be released this year or next year.
March 3rd, 2023.
Oh, March.
I wonder if it got pushed back though. It could have been pushed back because of what is this 8-minute teaser? That's not real. That's not a real video.
Don't lie to me.
Honor Among Thieves.
Swear to me.
It's called Honor Among Thieves.
That's what the movie's called?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Chris Pine, Michelle Rodriguez, Justice Smith, Reggie Jean Page. I don't know any of these people except for Hugh Grant and Chris Pine.
Yeah. I mean, they used a lot of their budget for those, and
why didn't they put actors who actually play? I don't know enough about any of those, but like, why is like Joe Manganiello not in it? You know,
maybe they didn't have his kind of budget. You know,
but Chris Pine.
Yeah. Good question. I don't know much about like going out for acting talent, and I mean, maybe if the director is like, I wanted someone like Chris Pine, they search him out. You know?
That's true. That's kind of what happened with Rob Pat.
Yeah, like you get a vision for who you want. Sometimes it works out and they'll do it, and sometimes you got to go to your backups.
There's a 27-second video. Is this just a title announcement? No, it's from Paramount, but it has nothing except like the title being announced with like cool. I mean, just this is more put together than either of the other two movies has been, and it's just literally introducing the title. So maybe we can have like, high hopes. Paramount Pictures. This one was made by some like Lithuanian film company. So, we can have higher hopes. I just don't know. One of the comments on this YouTube video that introduces the title says, a D&D movie shouldn't be about elves and shit. It should be about the difficulty of maintaining a friend group into your 30s and coordinating the schedules of 5 adults.
That's true. That is the real nightmare.
Yeah, I just wonder, because like I feel like, I don't know, why don't they make a movie that's like literally one of the older modules? Like not one that people are going to be like playing in current 5e D&D, but like a famous module, or like at least use like one of the well-known settings from D&D.
Yeah,
like literally have it like take place. Yeah.
Yeah, and I even harder than you have to.
I even think the last one, I feel like, I mean, maybe it was just like they're using the D&D name, so they have to have like stuff from kind of Wizards of the Coast. Yeah, so you would think that, I don't know, maybe that part wasn't like worked out or something.
Yeah.
And I don't know. Maybe they'll figure it out. What did you think of him cutting her arm right in the middle of teleporting?
I thought, why not cut it before teleporting? I was really confused about the timing of that.
Yeah, I was like, and the other thing, I thought they were doing it so that, and teleporting shouldn't take that long. I don't think it should be almost, I mean, it might take like a minute or two. I don't know.
Yeah.
But I think it was because they were teleporting right to like where the healers were. But also when they came out of the teleport, her arm was wrapped. And I don't feel like you can do that in the middle of teleporting. And that bothered me.
Yeah, that bothered me too. Because it was like, technically, couldn't she have teleported and just ripped her own arm out of the wall when they left?
Yeah, I don't know how it works. I wonder if there's like, I wonder if that would have been worse. Like maybe it would have like broken her arm worse or something.
I guess it wouldn't have been a clean cut like his sword or whatever.
Yeah.
But that just seemed like, I mean, that was a big, it was a big nothing kind of. They wanted to like add drama, but it was like there was no point to that. And I thought it was funny because, you know, they get on this campaign, they're doing things, they run into enemies, and like the priest guy with the weird Sharpie green on his forehead and bald head, he dies like immediately.
Mhm.
Like they're just trying, I think they were just trying to make it like, oh, see how high stakes this is. One guy's dead. She's got her arm cut off. Oh, this is real stuff. But it just didn't feel that way.
Nisa commented that some of the makeup looked like it was literally drawn on with a Sharpie.
That green, that's what I'm saying. That guy's green, you could see like the little lines that people made by filling it in. I was like, you can't get like a sticker or something that sticks on. I mean,
Yeah, again, 2005. So like, I don't know. I mean, 12 million is like a decent budget. Like it's not, you know, I mean, it's not like 45 million, but like,
yeah, and they didn't really have any well-known actors, so they shouldn't be breaking the bank on any of them. I mean, I'm guessing it was all into props and like the animated graphics, like the CGI stuff. I don't know where else it could have gone.
yeah, pretty wild.
Oh, it was wild, all right. Wild ride.
Yeah. Do you want to talk about the ratings and reviews?
Sure.
All right. So on IGN, which is where I kind of looked for like general reception thingies. So IGN scored it a 3 out of 10, stating that the only hardcore D&D fan should check it out, though mostly due to references to the game itself. Monsters and Critics awarded it 2 out of 5, stating if Lord of the Rings showed us how the fantasy genre can be done right, Dungeons and Dragons Wrath of the Dragon God shows us how it can be done horribly wrong. One reviewer stated that Bruce Payne's performance is still the highlight of this one, and another reviewer stated that Bruce Payne steals the show.
He did seem like the best actor.
Yeah. And then the opening paragraph to an IGN review by Philip Vukcevic says, interested in this movie? Think it might make for a fun night of fantasy? Well, it doesn't. My advice to anyone looking for an entertaining D&D experience would be to just play the game with friends on a computer or just read one of the manuals if you have to. The sequel to 2000's Dungeons and Dragons is just as much of a mess as its predecessor. Want the bottom line? It makes you miss Marlon Wayans.
Wow. Nails.
And so then just as a reminder, before we talk about the IMDb reviews, the original movie had an average IMDb rating of 3.6. Okay. And the average IMDb rating for this one is a 4.7.
Okay, so a little better, a little better.
And I took a, you know how when you click onto reviews, it gives you kind of like a grid of like
the like age groups? The top relevant ones.
Yeah, so it scored the highest in 45 plus.
In the age group?
So,
okay.
Males gave it a 5.0 and females gave it a 5.5.
Okay.
But there was only 128 females in that age range. So 30 to 44, the average score for all users was a 4.5. 18 to 29 was a 4.3. So those old people really kicking up the average.
They're like, man, we ain't seen graphics like this. This is when I was a kid.
And I haven't read the reviews since Thursday, and I selected quite a few. I might decide not to read them all, but I tried to get a wide variety. And I don't think very many of them are long, so that's good. I might read more of them.
Nice.
Because I like reading the reviews. It's quite fun.
That is the funnest part.
Yeah. So 1 out of 10. What a mess. This is honestly the worst film I've ever seen. I like adventure films even when the acting is lame and the plot a tad predictable and cheesy. I didn't punish myself enough to sit through to the end, so I can't comment on what happened as I was fast asleep up to the point I decided to call it a day. I don't recommend this to anyone. I liked the first one. It had some funny parts and nice animation. All I can say is this really stinks. This comment is supposed to be 10 lines long. Arg! I wish I'd read the guidelines before posting this because the movie doesn't deserve 10 lines. Don't watch it. Don't even consider it. You know it's an awful movie when waking up to it even irritates you.
Wow.
Yeah,
Burn, dude.
that's a deep burn.
Mm-hmm.
All right, another 1 out of 10. Too much D&D, not enough fun.
All right.
Yeah, I'm not sure. This is long. I'm not going to read the whole thing. It's like 10 paragraphs.
Read it for yourself.
There must be something wrong with me, since I must confess I rather liked the first D&D movie and simply got bored to death by the second. The first movie was all that has been said about it, and even more: terrible acting, cartoonish sets, non-existent plot, 3D studio tutorial looking SFX, and horrible Jar Jar Binks reenacting by the most tedious and annoying comic relief ever. However, considering the real talent of at least 3 of the main characters or actors, I can't help but think these pieces of over or underacting were delivered on purpose, which was something we talked about, right? That was kind of cheesy on purpose.
Yeah.
But it says, as I see it, the movie tries to represent what a D&D game session would look like if described by a bunch of players, and for heaven's sakes, not a bunch of obsessive compulsive geeks screaming their lungs out should the slightest obscure rule point be transgressed. No, just a bunch of casual players having fun, pretending to be sorcerers and thieves and warriors. I think the first movie just got that feeling right. Nothing was serious. Everything was both sketchy and way over the top. This is really long, trying to find if there's anything. Basically, so this is about the sequel. Basically, it has done nearly everything better. Not much, but still. More SFX, better conformity to the D&D universe and rules, more elaborate plot, and better editing, but the spirit is completely gone.
It's dead, man.
Yeah, it says the main failure of the scenario is the complete absence of humor. The ridiculous inconsistencies of the first movie were just portraying your average D&D session. So
I suppose, but I would argue that I don't think they did that on purpose in the first one.
I think this one got a little too like analytical.
Yeah.
I don't know, but very long 1-star review. One more 1-star. This one's shorter. Stop it, please. Whoever is approving the making of these terrible D&D movies, please stop before someone hurts. I can't believe there are 2 of them. One bad movie was enough. It would be different if you used some characters that we can relate to the game. Some actors who can act would also help. And another helpful bit would be a plot worth the paper it was written on. Oh, never mind. I think I'll just watch Lord of the Rings again. I'd love to see a D&D movie of Drizzt or the Ed Greenwood books. You could do some cool effects like in Pitch Black for the Underdark, or even the Dragonlance books. Huge armies of dragons fighting, but don't use whoever is doing your horrible CGI graphics. Hire someone new.
Yeah, no doubt. That big black dragon at the end was, I mean, you could tell someone put time in it and they tried, but not good.
I don't know. I mean, dragons are just supposed to be cool, and they're just kind of like, you know.
Yeah.
This one's a 3 out of 10. Another disappointment. I thought the first movie was really bad, but for some reason I liked it. I'm on board with this one. This is why I picked it. I didn't think you could make the second one worse than the first. Well, the actors are better and there is no more purple lipstick. But as far as special effects, well, they are about as special as a cartoon. I haven't seen special effects this good since Godzilla, the first one. I liked the first movie, but this one I just found myself rolling my eyes throughout the whole movie. I thought the plot was bad too. Well, at least I knew what was going on. I struggled to finish the movie, didn't like it at all. It can't compete with anything being made these days, especially after stuff like Lord of the Rings, Pirates of the Caribbean, Star Wars, and Kingdom of Heaven. I feel bad that the D&D fans can't have an awesome movie like some of the others being made. I was going to look up movies that came out in 2005, so that's a good...
Oh, yeah. A good that's probably going to be very humbling to see.
Oh, some Jesus of the Christ, yeah. We'll get through the reviews and then we'll talk about this.
Okay.
Let's see. I had a 5 out of 10 one. It says not great, not horrible, superior to the original in every way. It doesn't deserve a 1 out of 10, nor a 10 out of 10, but it's still a B movie, according to this person here.
All right.
The vast improvement here was in the characters, the storyline, and the performances. While this will win no awards and is still a B movie, it is light years better than the original. Unfortunately, as a continuation of the original storyline, so if you want to enjoy this, you probably should view the first one. I don't know. I feel like you don't necessarily need to.
Didn't you read in the summary that it was like a standalone sequel?
Yeah.
I mean,
you don't need to have the content. I mean, sure, there are some references to like Domodor's history
that's
and
pretty
stuff,
much
but
it,
you
though,
don't
right?
really need it. Yeah. 8 out of 10, fun if you are a D&D fan, probably not so fun if you aren't, which I don't know, I'd beg to differ. The first D&D movie was largely hated by D&D players, partly because it wasn't a good movie, but also because it was not very much like D&D the game. Perhaps because of the cool reception of the first, this was changed dramatically in the sequel. It now really is like the game, sure to provide lots of geek moments where viewers try to guess which spell is being cast or what magic item is being used. The characters also tend to act like D&D characters, and they actually explore a dungeon. Unfortunately, it has some shortcomings. For one, much of the acting is uninspired, not bad, but about a wooden as a dummy of Keanu Reeves.
What?
There's like some grammatical error in here. Not bad, but about a. I think it's missing the words "as good as." So not bad, but about as good as a wooden. I don't. I'm gonna read it word for word. It says not bad, but about a wooden as a dummy. Maybe as wooden as a dummy of Keanu Reeves.
Yeah.
The first movie also suffered from this problem, but in this movie, it's probably because most of the actors are new. This generally being their first film, exception being Tim Stern, the guy playing the rogue who brought some life to his character. There's a little bit more. It mentions the special effects being on par with Sci-Fi Channel offerings, and not as good as Lord of the Rings.
God, no.
It says it's much better than most other low-budget fantasy movies, which, I don't know, I haven't watched a lot of low-budget fantasy movies, so.
Yeah.
10 out of 10. Why are these all so long? Jesus. A very cool movie, light years beyond the first. I'm not the harshest critic on movies, but the first D&D film royally ticked me off. I'm a big D&D player and a fan, so when I saw it in theaters in 2000, I was completely disappointed. They chose to create a new story instead of possibly using an established storyline, which is what I'm saying. Not too bad in the long run, but it could have proved better if they had used any one of the numerous books that were available. This is really long.
This movie
it does say that Marlon Wayans in a fantasy film was the absolute worst idea any of the idiotic Hollywood producers could have made.
Damn.
He says, lo and behold, 5 years later, we have a new D&D movie that ain't bad at all. In fact, it was fun. I'm stumped. The first one was dumb as all get out, and they managed to continue off that one, use a secondary villain from the first one and make it better than the original. I'm gonna tip my hat to the director and his crew. Sure, the CGI was kind of iffy in some parts, but it looked a lot better than the original film. Everything about this film was better, from the characters to the FX to the story. Even the action was exciting, which again on something the original story lacked. I think this person is British because royally ticked me off and dumb as all get out.
I'm royally ticked off here.
Anyways, this person says that they're going to buy the DVD as soon as it's released.
Wow.
Yeah. I had one more. This one's short. Another 10 out of 10. Greatest D&D movie ever. All caps, 2 exclamation marks.
Whoa.
This movie is the all caps best adaptation of D&D of all time. There's an interview with the creator of D&D, and he loved it and thought that all the characters were spot on. I agree 100%. The only thing I have an issue with was the slow pace of the party as they are going on horseback to the goblin camp. Time was supposed to be of the essence, and here they are on an afternoon stroll. I love the use of hand gestures with some of the spellcasting. I also thought that the special effects were very all caps, well done and appropriate. Nothing was over the top. I doubt that any movie will ever truly capture the game and appease every fan of D&D. Stop forgetting words. But this is the closest one so far. Wizards of the Coast went to great lengths to make sure the movie was true to the books and rules. I loved seeing the actors sitting around on set, special feature, reading the player's handbook and studying it. I'm going to go out and buy this movie as soon as I can.
There's some hardcore fans, I guess.
Yeah. So on Rotten Tomatoes, the audience score was 29%, and there were over 5,000 reviews.
All right.
And there were only 2 critic reviews, so we didn't really have to read those, but it was of note to me that there was only 2 critic reviews. I'm not
wasting my time watching that.
I'll just read the little blurb that it gives instead of the full thing. So John Puccio, it resembles something made for the Sci-Fi Channel, 3 out of 10. And then David Cornelius, whose tagline is Hollywood Bitch Slap, gave it a 3 out of 5, a low-key adventure packed with the kind of fantasy that's endlessly ridiculous yet lovable in a Harryhausen kind of way. And I don't know what that means.
I don't either.
Harryhausen, an American animator. No, that's Ray Harryhausen. His last name is Harryhausen.
Whoa.
He was an American British animator and special effects creator who created a form of stop motion model animation known as Dynamation. His works include Mighty Joe Young, The Seventh Voyage of Sinbad, Jason and the Argonauts, which featured a sword fight with 7 skeleton warriors. His last film was Clash of the Titans, after which he retired. I
actually know all of those movies.
Look at that. This guy knew what he was doing.
Look at that.
I've never seen Clash of the Titans, but I have heard of it.
It's not bad. Worth watch.
Anyways, so yeah, there's that.
How about that?
What was the thing I said we were going to talk about when I was done with the reviews?
Movies that came out in 05.
Oh, right. Well.
Oh, yeah.
Batman Begins.
Ooh. That really puts it in perspective right there.
Yeah.
Okay.
King Kong.
Holy shit.
The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe.
Wow. This is bad company to be in for this movie.
I've never seen some of these. Constantine.
Oh, yeah. Keanu Reeves.
A movie called Elektra.
Elektra, yeah. Superhero movie. With
the Johnny Depp, Charlie and the Chocolate Factory, which is kind of questionable, but.
Yeah, that was a weird one.
Corpse Bride.
All right.
The Brothers Grimm movie, Fantastic Four, Harry Potter and the Goblet of Fire, Episode 3, Revenge of the Sith.
Yeah, there's no shot.
The Final Fantasy VII movie came out.
Oh, so good.
The Amityville Horror.
Wow.
Chicken Little. Barbie Fairytopia.
Watch out, Barbie. It might be able to take on Barbie.
Yeah. One of my students wrote one of her essays on Barbie and the Three Musketeers.
What?
I don't know. She was writing that it was the best Barbie movie.
Wow.
Anyways, that's high praise. There's a lot of good movies that came out in 2005. Yes. Is the point.
Right.
Beowulf and Grendel. The Crow. Beowulf. Wicked Prayer. And Naruto. The movie Legend of the Stone of Gello. I don't know how to say that. Anyways, so there's no reason for this movie to suck so bad.
Wow, just come out and say it.
Yeah. Also, The Land Before Time 11. Invasion of the Tiny Sauruses.
Tiny Sauruses?
Mm-hmm.
Sounds adorable.
Mm-hmm. Isn't Corpse Bride? Didn't we see that in theaters? Is that when Cody had all the Mountain Dew in his trench coat?
Yes.
That was a great time.
Did he also have Arby's sandwiches in there that time?
Oh, maybe.
That might have been a different time.
I know that he had food and soda. I just couldn't remember what the food was.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, just pulling out Arby's sandwiches, Mountain Dew. You thirsty? Yeah,
those mid-2000s trench coat phases, those were, I mean, that needs to come back.
That was something, for sure.
Yeah, that was a good time, you know?
Yeah.
Anyway, so it's a lot of good movies. And maybe 2023 will be the year of the D&D movie.
Let us hope.
And, maybe the third one is better.
Maybe. When did it come out?
2012, I think. Let me double check. Yeah, 2012.
Had another 7 years. Hopefully it's better.
Mm-hmm. And I don't think this one is corrected. I don't think this one is connected at all to the first two.
Okay.
But it is directed by the same person, so I don't know how much of a role,
Yeah.
That will play in its greatness or lack thereof.
Interesting.
Yeah. Another thing I keep forgetting about is the D&D animated series from the 80s. Because they have, you can watch all of that on YouTube, but it's like 2 seasons, so it would take a while. But they're like 20 minutes, so it.
Not too bad. I think there was a few episodes at a time.
I think there was like 26 episodes total or something.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So I don't know. I did write a quiz while we were doing that.
Oh shit! What is it?
Oh yeah, these episodes are only like 20 minutes long. The first one is called The Night of No Tomorrow.
Wow.
And it reminds me of like Scooby Doo because it's like the same era of animation.
Oh yeah.
Okay. What was the budget for the movie?
That should be 12 million.
Heck yeah. What was the box office total?
Ooh, it was 2.5?
Yeah. What are the 4 things that the heroes represent?
Ah, shit. It was wisdom, strength, intelligence. What would the other one be? Faith?
Nope.
Shit. What was the other one?
Honor.
Dang it. Okay. Close.
Name one of the references to D&D made in the movie.
Lux's name.
Okay. What was the average IMDb rating number?
4.7.
Yeah, look at that. You did pretty good.
Woo!
You got like 4 and 4.75.
I'll take it.
So
yeah,
that's pretty good.
So now comes the real rating. What is the Kendra rating?
Oh boy.
Yep.
I gave the first one 8 out of 10 because it was so bad you needed to watch it, right?
Right.
But my real number was like a 3 or something.
I actually have it up. Actual rating 4 out of 10.
Oh, okay. I don't think on my Kendra rating scale that this one is as good of an 8, specifically because I don't think it's so bad that you need to watch it.
Yeah.
Maybe it just doesn't even fall on my Kendra rating scale at all. Maybe it's too mediocre for that.
Too mediocre for the Kendra scale.
Right. But I will say that it is generally a tad better than the first one. So maybe I'll give it a 4.5.
4.5. Very nice.
And if I was gonna do a Kendra scale, I'd probably give it a 6.
Okay. All right. If it would be so lucky to make
but it's not.
Scale. But it's not. It's not cool enough.
The dude abides,
The dude abides, especially when he's on Kendra's shirt.
Oh yeah.
Where's your White Russian?
I made coffee instead.
I guess I'll take it. Close enough.
Yeah.
I think I would I kind of mirror everything you said.
Especially the part that the first one is so bad that it's good.
Well, no, that part we diverged, I think. But I think it's a little better than the first one. I'm gonna give this one a 2.5.
All right.
Yeah, I think I gave the first one a 1.5. So
yeah,
you can only go up from there.
You're really not a big proponent of the so bad it needs to be watched thing.
Not really.
Although I think it's bad enough that you could make a drinking game for it.
Maybe we should make that a rating. Be like a potential drinking game rating.
Yeah, maybe we should actually make a drinking game and post it in our blog.
Yeah, it'd be pretty crazy.
Heck yeah.
Nails.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anything else to add?
I don't think so. The only thought I've had is future podcast, we should get a little tiny whiteboards for each of us because I want to start like guessing what Kendra's rating is going to
be. I have some in my classroom. I should have brought them home. I don't think there's like a full classroom set, but there's like more than I need.
Nice. But I think that would be kind of funny just to see.
We don't get to keep our keys over the summer, so I don't have access unless I go in and get the key, which is sad.
Dang.
Yeah.
But no, other than that, I don't think I got too much.
Alrighty.
Oh yeah.
Do you have anything to butt plug?
Not when you say it like that, I don't. I got nothing. I don't really think I have much to actually plug either. So, I mean, just like Kendra says, go to our website and do the things.
Buy a butt plug.
You could buy a butt plug.
Not from our website.
But we do not sell those.
Right.
I could 3D print one if you're really into it,
but I don't think that they're safe plastic for putting inside your body.
Oh well. Live on the edge.
Wow. All right. Well, you can check out my dice shop. It's I made a bit.ly for it. So now you can go to bit.ly/bowdice because everything else I tried was taken. And I just updated my shop today. So there's lots of sets in there. So you can check them out. You can check out our website at bit.ly/5mmpod for like our blogs that are intermittently posted and whatnot. You can send us an email to 5FIVE more minutes pod@gmail.com with questions, suggestions, yell at us, critique us, whatever.
Do it.
And you can subscribe and download. Please download our episodes on whatever podcast on whatever app you get your podcasts.
Yeah.
And leave us a rating and a review. That'd be chef's kiss.
Mwah.
Yeah. And you can follow us on all of our social medias at 5MMPOD. And that's all I have to say. Oh, wait. Share us with your friends and family, your friends who are your family, and your family who's more like friends than family.
There you go. Now that's all she has to say. Then we'll clock out.
The dude abides.
Dude abides.
Bye.
See ya.